This is News Desk, and thanks for your company here on the program. Now, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers has released this third pre-election environment observation on the upcoming 2015 District Assembly elections. The third pre-election environment observation exercise forms part of CODEA's project to observe the impending assembly election. Now, the reason this has attracted a lot of attention is the fact that the district level election is supposed to be non-partisan. But CODEA has observed some clandestine party activities ongoing at the district level elections. Now, with me in the studio is Albert Kofi Ahin. He is coordinator for CODEA, and we'll get into those observations in a bit. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, my dear.
We know the biggest observation that has caught our attention as media people is the clandestine political activity. So take us through that briefly.
Yes, CODEA, through the kind courtesy of USAID, started the monitoring of the district assembly elections way back in October. And we've been issuing reports periodically. So far, this is the third report. And what CODEA is doing is that we are sponsoring, or we are monitoring 86 districts with some specially selected women who are going around encouraging and whipping up enthusiasm amongst the youth, women, and then the PWDs. And by PWDs, I mean people with disabilities. Okay. What we are doing is that we're trying to whip up enthusiasm among these marginalized groups so that they will participate fully in the district assembly elections. And this particular report came about through their findings in this third episode. And what they are saying is that some political parties are clandestinely, they are subtly going around and propping up or helping aspirants.
How are they doing this? Because then the operational word here is clandestine. So how are they doing it?
Well, you will find that most of the time in the rural areas, people do cleanup campaigns. And an aspirant will beat a gong and say that the whole community should assist him do a community kind of work. And in the course of this thing, you find that political parties will come out with their paraphernalia, they will wear their T-shirts and whatever. And then they will be singing songs and that kind of thing, trying to boost this cleanup campaign. And so when you look at the law, it doesn't allow anybody to, for example, wear a T-shirt of a party and be with an aspirant to conduct such a cleanup. Even though this is non-partisan? This is non-partisan, yes.
It's disallowed.
It's disallowed.
For it to happen that way. And that is what happened, and you observe.
Yes.
How does it affect the process?
It affects the process because, like you rightly said, it is illegal. It is supposed to be non-partisan. The Act 462 that sets up the district assembly thing is saying that anybody who decides to contest the district assembly election should do so on an individual basis. It should not be done on a partisan political party colors or something. So for parties to put up shirts, T-shirts, party paraphernalia and be with them, you know, it's a clear defiance of the law. Did the
observation include the fact that the candidates also were involved in such activities? That yes. They were also wearing party shirts and that?
Well, the candidate themselves will not wear party T-shirts, but of course with the backing, nobody tells you. You see, the thing is that all the parties are doing it. And it's like the whole country is looking at it. It's like we are all behaving like ostriches. You know, buried our heads in the sand, and this thing is going on.
So which parties did you observe?
If you read the report, you will find that the NPP and the NDC are specifically mentioned. But I believe it is not only the NDC and the NPP, the other parties are also doing it.
Let's have the NPP respond to this briefly. Then we'll look at other aspects of the report. Kwabena Japon is Secretary for the New Patriotic Party. He's joined me over the telephone. Kwabena, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to your listeners and viewers.
Absolutely. Kwabena, this is what CODEA is reporting. Clandestine activities, political activities at the district level elections, and he's made mention, CODEA has made mention of the NPP. What's your response to this?
Well, I think not too long ago, the presidential candidate of our party, Nanado, made a recommendation that the nation should stop pretending. I think there is no doubt at all that despite the fact that the local council law stipulates that it should be non-partisan, it's very clear that candidates are being backed depending on which party they belong. And because parties are the political organizations on the ground and the basic unit of political activity is in the electoral areas and the polling stations, it's very difficult to disengage parties from any voting process. And I think it's high time. I do believe it's part of the reforms that people have talked about in the constitutional review, that we may perhaps adopt the American system where we have midterm elections. So this could have been a midterm election at the local level, and then if it is done along party lines, then we will be doing the right thing. As it stands now, there's a lot of confusion. It's very difficult, even, it's more expensive because for the candidates, everybody is using their pictures. It's difficult to campaign because it's difficult to campaign with just a face and a name. We have over 6,200 electoral areas. There are sometimes 5 or 6 candidates in a particular electoral area. It's difficult for the electorate even to decide who to vote for because they don't know them. But if they represent parties, then they will be able to vote for their.
So Kwabena, are you admitting that the NPP engaged in some sort of illegality, as observed by Kodeo?
I don't know why you're so excited about getting me to admit that the NPP.
I am only asking a question. Far from excitement.
So it's not just the NPP. You've said all parties. I think what I've said, it is difficult for political parties to be disengaged from any voting.
Now, what you have also said translates that you are admitting that indeed the NPP has engaged in some illegality, because then you cannot disengage the district level elections from.
If that's what you find exciting, if that's what you find exciting, I know the media likes exciting news, and if that's what you find, I'm telling you about practical things as a nation we should be doing. There is no doubt that if you have an individual in an area, he will have some political inclination. The people in the area will know him, that perhaps he is an activist of this party or the other. And of course, the people in the party at the local level, the polling stations, the electoral area coordinators, they'll try and help him. And I'm saying that why don't we just come out openly and say that, look, we are going to do midterm elections. Candidates should be nominated by parties. Let's change the laws to reflect that.
Okay, Pablo, let me rephrase. I think that point is well made. I think that point is well made. Let me rephrase. Did the NPP, as a political party, officially engage in district level elections?
I think you're still very interested in that thing. Let's talk about what is happening now. Campaigning is going on down there. Okay? Of course. I mean, if somebody has is in the NPP, is an activist, and he calls on party people to help him to do advocacy, because the individual is just one person. To put together a machinery at the local level to visit people's homes, he needs help of others. And if he can call on his party people to do that, why not? I'm saying.
Very well.
And
just hold the line for me.
That, say it again.
Hold the line for me briefly. Johnson Esiedun Ketia, General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, has joined our conversation. You're welcome to the program, Johnson.
Thank you very much.
Again, I'm going to pose the same question I asked Kwabena to you. The NDC has been named as one of those parties engaged clandestinely in the district level elections, political party-wise. I mean, there couldn't be any other way, but I needed to stress that. What's your response to that?
Thank you very much, and good morning to Kwabena and good morning to listeners. Let me begin by saying that I've been traveling all night from Brongahafo. I just arrived at 3 a.m. So I haven't acquainted myself with Kodio reports or anything. So I'll be responding according to the questions you asked. You said there's a report about Kodio, and what have they said?
So, yes, what the report is indicating. We all very well know that the district level election is supposed to be non-partisan. But the observation made is the fact that the MPP and NDC is clandestinely involved in the district level election. The NPP has reacted to this. What would be the NDC's reaction to this?
Well, it will be difficult to react to what the researchers themselves call clandestine moves. Because if you want to track those moves for evidence, you must also be talking clandestinely. So I do not think that I will have any response in that direction, unless they are able to pinpoint a particular cases and asking us to talk about them.
For instance, in the Lejakukro area, I'd have Ahin continue with it. Albert Kofi Ahin is coordinator for Kodeo. You observed some illegalities in Lejakukro in the Greater Accra region. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we observed during the monitoring period that in Lejakukro, some cleanup campaigns were being organized and party officials were seen wearing party paraphernalia, but to be precise, party T-shirts, you know, helping.
And these parties came from both sides?
From both sides of the political divide. The NDC, the MPP, were all involved in this kind of activity. And it's not only in the Greater Accra region, in Brongahafo, Western region, Binduri, in the Upper East.
I'm sure Johnson has a fair idea now what we're talking about. Johnson, does it make you want to react to it now?
I do not think that that is. Maybe we can talk generally about whether we want to, if you like, politicize the elections or not. But
very well, let me put it this way.
It will be difficult for me to react to that.
Is it extremely difficult for political parties like yours to disengage from the district level election?
Are they engaged in district level elections in the first place?
Are you?
No, you are asking me about disengaging, and I'm asking whether we are.
You are the political party. Are you?
Do we disengage?
But Johnson, you are the political party. Are you engaged in it?
My sister, I would want us to open the issue up as to whether it serves the interest of the nation better if we open it up or we don't open it up.
I think basically that's what we are having.
But see. From all these questions and clandestine, that's
the point of the conversation now.
Various local government systems.
Now the concern is being the fact that it's difficult to disengage the district level elections from political party colors. And I just threw the question back at you. Is it difficult to do that for you as a political party?
I don't remember making any such statement that
I haven't attributed it to you. No, I haven't done that. I'm just asking you a general question. Is it difficult for you as a political party, from where you sit, is it so difficult to disengage from the district level election?
We are not engaged in district level election, so why do we talk about disengaging? That's my problem.
Is it difficult for the political parties not to be a part of the district level elections?
Are we part of the district level election?
At least that's what this report is saying.
No. If somebody is doing something that is not according to law, the person should be dealt with as an individual. So I don't understand the issue. That's why I would be comfortable if we are discussing the issue as to whether we should politicize.
Do you think we should politicize it?
Come again.
Do you think it should be politicized?
There are pros and cons on each side. So as a nation, what we choose will be what will be applicable. There is a lot to talk about the non-partisanship of the district assembly elections, as has already been sufficiently advocated both by the Constitution and both by those who want it to remain non-partisan. And the other side too, there are strong points to make it partisan, because as I heard my colleague talking about, he was saying that it could be something like mid-term elections, so the political parties can gauge what will happen in the subsequent elections and so on and all that. It could be a training ground for future politicians and so on. But it has its drawbacks. So as a nation, that is why this issue has been raised for debate. Yeah.
There's complaint of very poor interest in political, at a district level election. Hence, there's been called that we should just forget about it and then politicize that level of elections as well. You think that would help generate the needed interest?
It will come with some advantages and disadvantages. instance, if we are interested in high turnout at district level elections, yes, if you politicize it, there will be high turnout because the parties will be fully engaged. But is a high turnout an objective in itself? What does high turnout at district level election bring on board? That's an issue. Now, leaving it non-partisan also comes with its advantages of mobilizing people in a non-partisan way for development of the district and so on. So I don't want to be judgmental on this matter. We have to look at it. There are proposals in
other words,
for constitutional amendments.
Johnson,
so if we think that, yes.
In other words, the NDC does not have a stand on this, whether or not the district level election should be politicized.
Oh, I didn't think that you wanted an NDC position on
that's
this
why
matter.
we are speaking to the General Secretary.
For us to discuss. The NDC position has always been, because the NDCs are the founders of the Constitution, and our position is as contained in the Constitution.
I see. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much. Kwabena?
All right.
Yeah, hello? Yeah. Hello?
Kwabena, briefly though, this issue about politicizing or not politicizing. The idea for some people is that at the end of the day, assembly members, majority of assembly members are appointed anyway by the ruling government. We may just be at a loss. The fact that we're saying we don't want to politicize this. What's your thought on that?
I think I made that very clear to you much earlier, that some of us feel, in fact, our presidential candidate has gone on record quite recently to say that perhaps there is a need for us to look at it again and take a decision on it, because some of us believe that rather than pretend that there is no engagement, there is engagement, and so therefore perhaps we can use it as a midterm election and allow the political parties to play their role. Of course, in any decision that you take, there will be merits and demerits. It is for all of us to look at it and take a decision whether, having seen 20 years of non-partisan local elections, whether it has brought us where we want to get to, and whether we can try another 20 years of non-partisan or partisan elections at the local level. So it's a matter that we can really discuss. And I think that this is a matter for the development of our country. But I was a bit intrigued by the excitement in your voice. It appears that you like it when you harass my colleagues.
I disagree, and I beg to differ, Kwabena, but I'm grateful for your time. Kwabena Japor is General Secretary for the New Patriotic Party. And, well, we're still having a conversation around Kodeyo's observation at the district level election, the third pre-election environment observation on the upcoming 2015 district assembly elections. You heard the man. What's been running through your mind?
Well, for example, Kwabena was trying to give a tacit approval, for what is going on. And I think the party one time came out to say that this thing should be politicized. And the other side is also not too sure, but it looks like he's also trying to toe the line of this partisanship.
But then again, as election observers, like I was telling Kwabena,
are
we not kidding ourselves, thinking that this district level election is without political colors, especially when, at the end of the day, you elect that so-called non-partisan person, but the assembly members are appointed by ruling party.
Not all of them are appointed
or by government.
They're appointed by government. 2/3 is elected and 1/3 is appointed.
2/3 against 1/3.
Yeah, 2/3 against 1/3.
So majority.
No, 2/3 majority is elected and 1/3 is appointed. Yeah, and one thing is, that I said when I started this conversation, that the whole country is behaving like ostriches. We are all behaving like ostriches. We know it is partisan, but who bears the cat? Okay, some people are advocating that
maybe it's time we changed it.
It's time we changed it. Yeah, and some are also of the opinion that, for example, in a period where there's no election, we should experiment with some few district assemblies and maybe the metros, and do a mock election of the district assembly election using the parties you know,
but
as a test
per
case.
Kodeo's observation,
Yeah.
would it help us more if we politicize the district level election?
Codeo per se hasn't come out with any concrete decision as to whether it should be partisan or non-partisan. But, you know, Codeo is for good governance, Codeo is for good elections, for equity and
but
that kind of thing.
It boils down to the same.
Yes, we are saying that if the government or the whole nation is going to go partisans, then, of course, we should have a consensus. We should build a consensus, and Codeo will be part of it. Because in the long run, if it is partisan and it's being well done, everybody, you know, is happy.
But
yeah.
I realize that in your recommendations you didn't touch on that.
Yes, we didn't touch on that because we haven't taken a decision on that.
You haven't taken a decision.
Yes,
it's not that you're staying away from it.
No, we haven't taken a decision.
You haven't taken a decision. No. But let's look at those that you decided to touch on.
Yeah.
You spoke about the lackluster attitude of exhibited by CSOs towards the impending local level elections.
Yeah.
And you described it as being very worrying.
Yeah.
Why is it important that they be a part of it?
Yeah, they should be a part of it because, you know, CSOs are down the grassroots level. They are with the people. The disability people, the youth, the women, they are all in some of these organizations. And Codeo and the NCCE, for that matter, and even IDEA, they are all engaged in whipping up enthusiasm among these three groups that I'm talking about. For example, the women are seriously, you know, marginalized when it comes to these elections. PWDs are marginalized, and the youth are not getting involved. So we want these civil organizations to get involved, whip enthusiasm among these groups, so that we'll be interested.
But
and then the development of the nation will be the better.
How do they do that? Because I realize you also asked the NCCE to continue to arouse the interest of our citizens, which is what you have already said. How do you do that in election with the kind of thinking we have already as a people? When it comes to election, it has to be a political
No, the NCCE, for example, might not even wait for the election to take place. They can be having periodic education. You see, the way I'm saying is like
and you think that will wait for the...
Yeah, there should be a wake-up call for everybody in this nation. You see, the framers of this kind of election, or those who thought about it, were thinking about sending development to the grassroots. They call it the bottom-up approach method.
For me, the concern from the ground that we have heard is the fact that, look, we don't even know the use of these people because when they come, they don't do anything. There are some areas who have warned that you dare not come there and ask us to vote for you. But imagine it was actually politicized.
Yeah, one area of concern that I'm also been thinking about is, do we have to remunerate the assemblymen, for example, when they are elected? And if we remunerate them, is it going to give them some kind of incentive so that others might emulate? They go there, they don't have any incentive. Sometimes the allowances are not even paid. They have very meager resources to work. Some travel long distances to come to the assemblies. You know, it is not motivating enough.
I think would probably have to wait for, like the general secretaries of the two major political parties in the country have said, that we would have to wait for the electoral reforms that are being discussed, admitting that it's one of the recommendations they're looking at. So we'll look forward to that. Thank you very much, Albert, for your time. Albert Kofi Ahen is coordinator for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers here in Accra. And Albert just crossed my camera, but would end our program here today. Thank you very much for your company. It's been absolutely fantastic coming your way. And I'll see you again a little later on News Today when I discuss exactly what we should expect at the end of February with regards to the reduction in fuel prices. I'll speak to the NPA on that. Make time to watch me a little later from now. Goodbye for now.